On the sixth day of Christmas, my true love sent to me people who hate astrology. It's Podmas, bitches. I'm scrolling TikTok at 3 a.m. because my nervous system's too fucked to go to sleep and I feel too anxious to put my phone down. Is that why I'm having an existential crisis? There are always going to be a million other things you could have decided to do. I'm broken. I heard that if you swear or say rude things in the first few minutes of your podcast, YouTube can sense that, or they can pick it up in their algorithms and then they don't push your stuff out to people. So you should probably maybe get better at not swearing or saying insane things until a little bit later on in the episode, but oh well. Hello, welcome back. Podmas day 6. This is actually 7. On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me people who don't believe in astrology. Had to think about that one for a second. Welcome back. It's me again. I forgot to say this in the last episode, but thank you to everyone who sent me messages about We're All Like Other Girls being in your Spotify Wrapped. I went through my Spotify Wrapped as a creator, and this podcast was in 31 people's top 10 podcasts of the year. And then I think it was 21 or 22 people's top 5. And when I read this, I was like, there's no way. People, if you looked at the stats of my podcast, the analytics, I was like, there's no way that 31 people have my podcast in their top 10. And then people started messaging me and saying, you were in my top 3, love your podcast. I listened to your podcast for 80 something minutes, or I don't know, a certain amount of minutes. And I thought, that is kind of crazy. And that just goes to show, celebrate your shit, even if you're in the beginning. I think, I looked at my podcast and I was so excited seeing 31 people that I was in their top 10. And then I think I went on, whose podcast did I look on? I don't know, maybe it was someone big, maybe Alex Cooper, or I don't know, maybe it was Diary of a CEO. I saw someone share theirs and it was 30, you were top 10 for 35,000 people. And I was like, okay, in the grand scheme of things, my metric is not that big of a deal, and it's actually kind of tiny, but it's not tiny to me and it's not insignificant to me. And to be in 35,000 people's top 10, you first have to be in 31 people's top 10. So thank you. And if that's you, I can't believe it. So thanks for being here. If you're listening to this, love you. Okay, I want to talk about astrology and witchy things and whether I believe in that type of shit, and whether it matters if I believe, or whether it matters if it's real, and whether you can not believe it and still get things from it, and just all of that shit. But first of all, you know what time it is. Check-in jar time. We're getting empty. I need to put some more in this today. If you have a journal prompt that you love, you can put it in this check-in jar. I've put a link in the description of the videos that you can put it in. I would love to answer your journal prompt. Okay, the penultimate prompt from the jar is, talking of witchy things, what dark cloud is present in your life right now? What dark cloud is present in your life right now? The dark cloud present in my life right now is the fact that you guys know I'm a freelancer, and I'm just kind of doing this podcast thing, and I've done a lot of different freelancey creative things to make money. I've done a lot of things, and I'm in the position where I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I don't want to rush We're All Like Other Girls as a brand to make money. I'm not in a rush to kind of monetize it. I want to grow it as a brand, but girls got to make money, girls got to eat. And so I think the dark cloud in my life right now is, okay, what is going to be my next kind of big stream of income? I would really like some sort of consistent income. I want to do it as a freelancer, whether it is, I'm kind of thinking podcast editing for another podcast. I would be super open to that. I don't know if I want to do the influencer brand deal thing, with my own accounts. Yeah, I don't know yet. I think the big dark cloud is where is my stable income coming from? Because right now it is not present in my life, and I would like it to be. And I'm not in a rush for that to happen. I know these things take time, but I think if I could figure that out, that would be a huge weight lifted. And so if you guys know anyone who needs a podcast editor or a video editor, let me know. I would just also love to have multiple streams of income. So I love the idea of editing for another podcast or like another thing, like working with other people as well as doing my own thing. I like doing my own thing and like having my own brand, but I also like doing multiple things and juggling lots of things. And also working on your own as a freelancer has been a lonely road. And that's the main thing I've noticed about freelancing for a few years now, is that it is quite lonely. And I think I love the idea of working in a group of people. So like working as a freelancer with a company that I really love and like working in a really cool team, just so I can be around people, be inspired by people, have new different inspirations, like different influences. I think, yeah, I want to like work with a group of people. And I think the dark cloud, to come back to the question, is that that's not figured out yet. Like I don't really know what the next phase of my life is going to look like in terms of like work. So that's a dark cloud, but not in a negative way. It's just like, it's there. You know, when you look outside, like right now I'm looking outside and there are grey clouds, but I'm not thinking, oh my God, that is like the worst thing ever. And I'm not like depressed by the idea. I'm just thinking, okay, they're kind of big dark clouds. Would love it to be blue. Can kind of see a little bit of blue, but I know the blue is still there. You know, like behind the big clouds, the blue is there. So I'm not worried about it. Done. Okay, let's talk about astrology. The reason I want to talk about this is because I feel like when people ask you like whether you believe in astrology and whether you believe in like star signs and like tarot cards and like psychic readings, like when people ask you if you believe them, I feel like they're asking you to like decide their opinion of you, you know, like they are going to decide what they think of you based on whether you believe in astrology and like witchy things, tarot, psychics, all of those things. Like they want to judge you about them. And I've been through like the ringer when it comes to my belief system of these things. Like I have been very, very on the absolutely not end. Like I think heart of my hearts, I am a skeptic. I am a skeptic and I like things to make sense. And I find kind of unconditional belief in something quite hard unless it makes sense. Like, you know, when people are like, oh, I just trust the universe without proof. Like, no matter what, I just trust the universe. I don't need proof. I don't need to understand why. Like, I just trust. It could never be me. Like, I wish it was. But I just... That's just not me. It needs to make sense for me. Okay. If you were like, okay, I trust the universe. I talked about this in like 2 episodes. I think it was maybe Podmas Day 5. I learned to kind of trust based on lived experience, and you like live experiences and then you gain trust, and because of that you kind of build and develop over time unconditional trust. You develop it through kind of lived action and lived experience. And so I've never really understood being able to believe in something that didn't make sense, right? And so I've been on that end, and I've been on like the absolutely no, of course I don't believe in it, like it's just bullshit end. I've also been on the full other end, like full witchy woman, going to medicine ceremonies, cacao ceremonies, retreats, having women's get-togethers, doing tarot cards, doing psychic readings, getting people to like read my human design and tell me what I should do next based on my human design and my astrology and like my numerology. I've been on both ends, okay? And right now I feel like I am somewhere, well, to be honest, I'm not somewhere in the middle. I feel like if that is like a spectrum, if that is like a timeline, like a straight line spectrum, I feel like I'm in like a circle over here. Like, I feel like I'm nowhere on the spectrum. This is why. So these are like my thoughts about astrology, and what I'm just gonna kind of put them all in the bucket of like witchy things. And I just mean by that, like all of the things like esoteric things, like astrology, tarot, star sign, human design, numerology, any of those things. I think we need to let go of our obsession of things being real. Okay. I think it's crazy that we need something to be real in order for it to be true for us. And I'll give you an example of that, okay? It's because we're obsessed with the idea, or people who don't believe in astrology and they think tarot cards and psychic readings and like mediums and past lives, people who think all of that type of stuff is bullshit, the main reason they give that it's bullshit is that it's not real. You know, like that, they're like, no, it's bullshit, it's not real. Love. Think about love. Like they say it's not real, and the definition of real means it's true. It's actual. That is on Wikipedia. That is the definition of something being real. If you think about love, like love is a feeling. It's a feeling that we can kind of explain and we can feel, but it's not something tangible. You can't measure it. You can't see it. You can't prove it. But nobody is saying that love is not real, because you can feel it and you can experience it. And I think people who believe and follow astrology and they believe in past lives and other things in that kind of, I guess, like spiritual or esoteric realm, they would tell you that they can too feel it in the same way that you can feel love and know love without needing it to be kind of measurable and explained. People can feel that kind of like spiritual realm in the same way. Like nobody is being like, okay, but you can't prove love and you can't see love and you can't measure it, and there's no scientific proof that XYZ means love, and so love is not real. Right? I also don't necessarily think that things need to be proven and real to be valuable and to bring value and peace to people's lives. I don't think things have to be real in order to do that. I mean, like religion. I mean, I didn't know I was going to go down this road, but a lot of people believe in God, okay? And I would say that the belief in God is not too dissimilar to having a belief in something bigger, whether it is like your spiritual guides or tarot or energetic readings and mediums and being able to talk to people who are dead and see your past lives. The belief in God is not something that is like a belief in something real. There is no proof that God exists. God, I feel nervous about talking about this one for some reason. There is no proof that God exists, but that doesn't mean it doesn't bring value and meaning and purpose and help and joy to people's lives. Let's talk about like tarot cards. Okay, so you're like picking tarot cards. People sit around, you pick tarot cards, and then you read them. You read them and you see what they mean. Okay, even if tarot cards aren't real, and even if behind the cards there aren't these like spirits telling you what to do, which people aren't really saying that that's how they work anyway, but even if there is nothing to them, let's just say there is absolutely nothing real, they are just cards and they just have writing on and they're just nothing, okay? Like there's nothing esoteric, spiritual, witchy behind them at all, let's say. Maybe you read it and it tells you that you are gonna find love, okay? I'm trying to use like very, very clear examples. It tells you you're gonna find love and this is kind of the season in your life for love. It's gonna be in your mind then that, oh, that card said that love is gonna be in my life. And so you're gonna go about your life with that in your mind. And it's like yellow car. Like you don't see yellow cars until you're playing yellow car and then all you see is yellow cars. The same is with a card. If a card tells you love is on the horizon for you right now, and somewhere within you already you'd kind of been thinking, oh, I think I might like a guy. You know, like, or a girl or whoever. I think I'm ready to like fall in love again. All that card does is that card affirms that to you and it makes you think, oh, okay, maybe I am ready for that. And so it allows you to have this kind of validated sense of confidence in what you kind of already knew you wanted in the first place, and the other way is around as well. If you pick a card that says they're going to fall in love soon and you're like, absolutely not, that doesn't apply at all, then that kind of gives you information about the fact that you don't feel ready for that and you don't desire that. And so I think like it doesn't have to be real for it to be helpful. The same with astrology, like you read your horoscopes, okay? They don't have to necessarily be real and like specific to you for it to be helpful. Like if you've heard of the Barnum effect, I've definitely talked about it before. And it is basically the idea that these horoscopes and lots of things, a lot of like the personality things, the descriptions are general enough for them to apply to a lot of people. And so the likelihood is you could read every single horoscope and you could probably relate to every single one of them in some way. But just because that is true, it doesn't mean multiple truths can't exist, okay? So just because that is true and maybe you could resonate with all of them, you could read yours and it could, like, let's read my horoscope right now. Leo horoscope for December. And let's see what comes up. So my horoscope for today says that December begins on a calmer note thanks to sweet Venus entering Scorpio and your fourth house of home and family. Then it goes on to talk about how I might feel a bit hazy, some truths might be coming to light. And then it also says that I should maybe let go of a fair-weathered friend or finally stop expecting anything from that romantic partner who's been stringing you along, okay? Lots of people could probably relate to those. Those are very general. But if I did have a friend who I was thinking, God, like, this is feeling like hard work. Like, should I see her this holiday? Reading that might make me think, it might reflect those thoughts that I'm already kind of having with myself about whether I should see this friend or not. It might help me think, okay, maybe I shouldn't. It might affirm something that I'm already thinking. And I think in the same way that, like, I think journal prompts do this, I think questions do this, I think therapists can often do this, is that they reflect things back at you that help you kind of synthesize thoughts and information that you already have. And so it kind of pisses me off when people are like, oh, astrology's fucking stupid. Obviously I'm saying that in a man's voice because it's predominantly men who do this. Fucking astrology's stupid, it's not real, I'm not gonna let fucking sun tell me what to do, the sun doesn't know. Maybe the sun does know, okay? And even if it doesn't mean that it can't help you with something. And I think, fuck, there is so much shit in the world, okay? There are so many hard things. Like, our society is set up for things to be hard, okay? There are a laundry list of reasons why life can be hard and treacherous and sad and dark and depressing. If you can read your fucking horoscope this month and it can help you with something and it can bring you a little bit of peace, regardless of whether it's real, regardless of if it's true or if it is bullshit, if it makes you feel good and it makes you feel a little bit more affirmed in a decision you want to make, if it makes you feel a little bit more positive or a little bit more validated, who fucking cares if it's real or not? Fucking hell, I feel like Tony Robbins. Someone once called me Abraham Hicks for the girlies, and I kind of want to be that. You know how Abraham Hicks just goes on these fucking rampages? Abraham Hicks is a perfect one. She is, like, Abraham is a channel through Esther Hicks. If you don't know who these people are, this is going to sound insane, but Esther Hicks channels this person, Abraham, and Abraham goes on these rampages that help people, regardless of whether it's real or not. Esther Hicks, through Abraham Hicks, you should, honestly, if you don't know who this is, you should look it up because she is fantastic, helps so many people and inspires so many people and brings people so much positivity and light. Who cares if it's not real? As long as it's not harming anybody. Obviously, I think there is a spectrum to this. But if it's not harming other people and it's helping people to feel good and it gives people a little bit of hope and a little bit of affirmation as they go about their day, who cares? God, I don't want to make this a gender thing because I'm so fucking tired at the moment of seeing misogyny behind every door. I mean, and by behind every door, I mean every time I open an internet app. But it is a tale as old as time. Stereotypically, it is women who are into astrology and these kind of witchy spiritual practices. So does it make sense? Are we connecting the dots? Here we go again. Another example of how stereotypically female interests are belittled and infantilized and deemed as invalid. A tale as old as time. It is a tale as old as time. I guess from like a deeper perspective as well, witches, like historically, famously, witches were burned at the stake. Like, men deemed powerful women as witches and then literally killed them and tied them up and burned them alive because they were witches. And so maybe this kind of dislike and hatred for these kind of spiritual practices and like esoteric, not real on paper things that are kind of deemed witchy, maybe are kind of society's distrust and hate for them, that maybe it is kind of like a conditioned response to that. But because for so long women were literally burned at the stake for having these interests and being women, being powerful women with interests, or just being powerful women who want to speak and like things. But fucking hell, that's a tale as old as time. I also think, okay, and this is maybe my last point, is that you can't say for certain what is true and what isn't. You know, I think we are limited. Our like knowledge of what's true and what's real, and just our like knowledge in general is limited by technology, right? Like our knowledge advances as technology advances. Like there is so much we didn't know until technology came about, and now we can measure things, and now we can advance science, and science can help us know things, and it's all kind of fundamentally starts with technology. So technology is kind of the fundamental basis of knowledge and understanding like what's real. And so I think it's kind of crazy to assume that we know everything now. As technology advances, as it inevitably will, our knowledge of things is going to continue to advance. If I told my grandpa 40 years ago that one day he would be reading his newspaper through an iPad that he doesn't have to go to the shop and get, it will be sent to him through this box of electricity, and he will be able to read his Racing Post, there was no way he would have thought that was real. He would be like, you are insane, you are deluded. Things advance and things change. And so I think it's just kind of insane and almost ignorant to have the fundamental basis of not believing in astrology as, yeah, but it's not real. Like, that just doesn't make sense. I also just don't think it's as insane as people think. Like, people's opinion of astrology is that, like, of course, the time that you were born doesn't dictate your personality. Of course, like, where Venus and the sun and the moon are when you were born doesn't dictate the way that you show up in relationships and your personality. And I think when you say it like that, it does sound kind of insane. But the moon, okay, the moon, our moon, literally dictates the movement of our oceans. It dictates the tides, okay? The moon has this insane power, and not like magical powers like Harry Potter, but it has the power, and it does every single month, every single day, to impact the movement of our oceans, okay? And so I think it's crazy to say that where the planets are and the way that the planets are aligning and the movements of the planets, I think it's insane to suggest that that has no bearing on us as human beings, and that it has absolutely no impact on the way that we show up. You know, and people are always like, oh, women always blame things on Mercury being in retrograde. And okay, I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't know what that means, okay? I don't know what Mercury being in retrograde means. I don't know how it affects us. I'm not that deep into the witchy world, which I was. But I think it's crazy. I just don't think that we can say that where our planets are has no impact on us as human beings at all. I guess, like, long story long, maybe you can't prove it to be true, but I don't think things need to be proven to be true to be valuable. The belief that you have in them and the intention behind them plays more of a part than you know in the way that something affects you. And so I have a friend who says that she never sleeps on a full moon. Like, never sleeps on a full moon. She's like, yeah, full moon, won't sleep. And I said to her once, I was like, okay, but do you think that it's because you tell yourself you don't sleep on a full moon, and your belief in the fact that you don't sleep on a full moon is so strong that you've kind of, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy? And she was like, yeah, like that definitely could be it, but who knows? And it almost like doesn't matter. It's kind of like, what is it called when doctors, the placebo, you know, it's like a placebo effect. If someone gives you a placebo painkiller and it stops your pain, it doesn't really matter whether it was a placebo or not, because the belief that you have about the fact that that pill was going to stop your pain was strong enough to stop your pain. And so it didn't matter that it wasn't necessarily like real. It didn't matter that it was a placebo. It just mattered that it worked. And so affirmations, for example, I know a lot of people think affirmations are bullshit. If you don't believe that affirmations work, and if you think affirmations are bullshit and you think they are just like an absolute crock of shit, if you do affirmations, if you start writing affirmations in a journal every morning thinking they're a crock of shit, there's no way affirmations are going to have any impact on your life. But if you truly believe that if you wake up in the morning and you write out a positive affirmation over and over again about something you want to change in your life, and you believe that if you do that, like your belief is that you writing that is going to set you up for a better day, you're going to go about your day with the knowledge that that affirmation is solidified in your mind, and you're going to take that throughout your day. And the likelihood is that is going to influence your day. If you affirm every single morning that you attract opportunities, then you are going to navigate your day looking for opportunities because it is so solidified in your mind because you've written those affirmations in the morning. And so it's not really the affirmations that kind of change your life. It's not the fact that because you wrote affirmations down in your journal that morning, the universe responded and all of a sudden put incredible opportunities in your path. It's the fact that that morning you woke up and you affirmed to yourself and wrote down that you were going to attract opportunities. And because you affirmed that in your mind and you believed that those affirmations were going to help you, you believed in those affirmations and the power that writing them down and affirming that you are going to see opportunities and attract opportunities, you believed in that. And then you navigated your day with an open mind that you were going to see opportunities and opportunities are going to come to you. And then when they do come to you, you're willing to take them and you see them. It wasn't because these affirmations had like magical powers. It was because you believed in them. And I just think that goes for more than you know. I think the belief in something and the intention you put into something is so powerful. If you believe in astrology, if you believe in your human design, if you believe in numerology and the phases of your life based on numerology, if you believe that what the medium, what the psychic is telling you is true, I think that is the power in it. Regardless of whether it's true or real, it's the belief behind it. And as long as it's not hurting anyone, like who fucking cares? So just have fun. Pull your tarot cards, get a psychic reading. Don't shit on people for things that they believe in. We're all just trying to get by. And if a belief in astrology and witchy things helps you get by in the same way that a belief in God helps people get by, then I think that is literally all that matters. Love you loads. Thanks for listening. If you got to the end, comment. Tell me what your opinion is on witchy things. Do they exist? Do they not? Doesn't matter. Let